If you're wondering why the Supreme Court is in the midst of a major crisis of legitimacy, let me explain all the reasons why in just 60 seconds. Start the clock. There are 9 justices on the Supreme Court, and 6 of them are conservatives, the same 6 who ruled against abortion rights in the Dobbs case. To be clear, Democrats have won the popular vote in every presidential election bar one this century, yet there are only 3 liberal justices on the court. 5 of the 6 conservative justices on the court were appointed by presidents who first came to office having lost the popular vote. That's Amy Coney Barrett, Brett Kavanaugh, Neil Gorsuch, Samuel Alito, and Chief Justice John Roberts. 3 of those 5 were, of course, appointed by Donald Trump, who not only lost the popular vote twice, but then became the first American president in history to attempt a coup.
Thus far, as expected, the response from the White House has been lackluster. They have said that they are in favor of increasing access to the abortion pill in red states with federal protections. We'll have to see what they do with that. They're not in favor of opening clinics on federal lands in red states. But this morning, Joe Biden did mention that he is in favor of ending the filibuster in order to codify Roe v. Wade. However, that's not really up to him. So it sounds nice that he says that, but we know that Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin are staunchly against ending the filibuster, along with a few other Democrats as well in the Senate. And we know that the Biden administration is not going to threaten them or push them in any type of way to make them get in line. Also, Joe Biden is poised to nominate an anti-abortion judge to the Kentucky Circuit as part of a deal that he made with Mitch McConnell, to where Mitch McConnell supposedly won't hold up any more judicial nominations. But we know that Mitch McConnell is a liar and a political hack. So with enough uproar from the liberal community, hopefully we can steer Biden away from this anti-abortion choice for the Kentucky judicial court system. So far, that is what the White House has done about Roe v. Wade being overturned.
2 of the 6 conservatives on the bench, Kavanaugh and Thomas, have been credibly accused of sexual misconduct, though they deny the accusations. One of those 6, Gorsuch, is sitting in a seat stolen from Merrick Garland because Republicans made up a rule about confirming Supreme Court justices in an election year. Another of those 6, Barrett, was then confirmed to her seat just weeks before a presidential election, violating that made-up rule.
According to a recent CBS News YouGov poll, only 31% of adult Americans believe the reversal of Roe v. Wade is a step forward. This is why people are saying that the Supreme Court is an illegitimate organization, because they're not acting on the behalf of democracy, saying that this is a precedent and we're returning the rights to the states. The rights to the states to do what? To prosecute women for having abortions at 7 or 8 weeks because they can't afford a child, or maybe because they got raped, or because there was incest involved, because many of these states are pushing to make it that extreme, including my home state of Missouri, as we went over in a couple of videos previously, to where the use of contraception basically can be used to prosecute women. This is why people are saying that the Supreme Court is illegitimate, just on the basis of Roe v. Wade, but many other things, as I'm about to talk about.
Another of those 6, Thomas, has a wife who worked to overturn that presidential election, and yet he refused to recuse himself from cases involving Donald Trump and the 2020 election. So legitimacy crisis is an understatement. This is an anti-democratic, pro-minority rule, GOP-packed Supreme Court that needs to be urgently rebalanced.
And of course, as always, the Democrats could have done more about this had only they tried. Obama, who ran in 2008 saying that he was going to codify Roe, who even had a supermajority in Congress, didn't go after it because he said that it just wasn't a part of his legislative agenda at that moment. Nancy Pelosi and the DNC, who are now begging for donations because we have to make sure the Democrats win elections. But you guys already control the House, you already control the Senate, and you already control the White House. So basically, your approach is that we have to get 10 more Democrats in the Senate than we already have in 2022, which clearly isn't going to happen because that many seats aren't even up in the first place. So that isn't happening. So your approach basically is to just sit back and do nothing, collect money, and tell people to go to the polls. And when you lose, to blame the public for it.